What is going on, everyone? It is Coach Nick here, and today is a very special day because this was a request from one of our members in the challenge that is always like, hey, but this also is really, really beneficial for everyone because so many people struggle with this one thing, and that's energy. And we are going to discuss some incredible ways how to optimize your energy. And we're going to tie it into the habits that you guys have been focusing on during this challenge. I've got a great presentation for you guys today, and we're going to kick it off right now. So, when you are looking at energy, the number one thing that you need to be thinking about is what is your reason why? But before I get into that, I want to kind of break this down. So, like I was saying, tonight we're going to be diving deep into one of the biggest struggles that people face. It's that lower energy. If you ever feel exhausted, sluggish, or just dragging through your days, we're going to break down exactly why that happens and how to fix it. But before we get into the how, we're going to start with something even more important, and that's your why. Because without a strong reason behind your goals, there's no strategy, workout, or nutrition plan that will ever stick. And we discussed this at the beginning of the challenge. And I really want to get back to it because it's so, so important, especially as you continue to progress through the challenge and into life as a whole. And the power of your why is your real driver to success. The most important thing that you need to really start thinking about here is if you don't have a deep emotional connection to your goals, it's really easy to quit when things get hard. And I know a lot of times I've talked to hundreds of people and I ask them, like, why do you want to get in shape? Why do you want to get fit? And most of the people are just like, I want to lose weight or I want to be healthier. But it goes so much deeper than that. Why do you really want that? And you have to really get deep in that. And that's what we discussed the 5 why exercise last week. And we want to really make sure that we're bringing our why to the front of our focus at every given point because motivation is going to fall off, but discipline rooted in your why is where you're really going to be able to flourish. A lot of times that I see people who are extremely successful, they have a really deep why. A lot of times is it like they want to have energy to keep up with your kids. They just want to feel more confident in their own skin and they want to be able to show up as their best self in every area of their life. You have to define what that means for yourself. Without a clear definition of why this is important to you, you're going to find those ebbs and flows of motivation. And most of the time, you're going to quit when things get hard. So, at the beginning of this challenge, I really want you guys, or at the beginning of this call, I really want you guys to write down in the chat like what your why is, because I want to reflect on that. And an important note here, if your goal doesn't excite or scare you a little bit, you need to you need a deeper why. And so when you can get a little scared, that's when you're pushing outside of your comfort zone. And when you're outside of your comfort zone, that's where real growth happens. And that's when you start to see the changes that you're looking to change. Andrew Huberman, I saw a post with him just this week, and he was talking about a very specific part of your brain. I'm not going to quote him because I don't remember which part it was, but there's a part of your brain that's just now getting studied that correlates with doing things that you don't want to do. When you do things that you don't want to do, this part of your brain actually grows. And they're showing that this part of your brain actually connects with your longevity. And so, making sure that you have a really deep why and getting out of your comfort zone, doing things that you don't generally want to do is going to not just set you up for success now, but for the rest of your life. But now to the main part of this presentation. Now that you guys have really started thinking about why it's important to you, now you can start being like, okay, what's the how? And there's 5 key pillars here. And they're not going to be a surprise for you because we've been working on a lot of these, but I'm going to give you more implementation strategies and just dive a little bit deeper into all of those. So if you're low on energy, it's really not just about sleep. It's about how you're fueling and treating your body every single day. And even you guys probably right now are starting to feel some changes in your energy, starting to feel some changes in your body. You're losing some weight, and that's great. But you can't expect a super fast change overnight. The only way you can get that change is a really dramatic shift, and that is not sustainable. So, making sure that you recognize and understand that this journey is going to take a little bit of time, but it is so worth it. And now, the number one thing that is going to increase your energy is your nutrition, because your nutrition, you fuel for energy. So many people just eat for flavor. But when you change your mindset about that and you realize that food is fuel, then it starts to change everything. If you're not eating the right foods, your energy levels will crash dramatically. When you're eating processed foods, your body has to take more cellular energy to break those things down, and it slows down your energy. When you eat things like trans fats from fried food, your body has a really hard time breaking down that food. And so when it has a hard time breaking down that food, what's going to happen is it's going to slow down or it's going to lower your energy, because your body is using most of its energy to break down that food it's not meant to be breaking down. And that's why it's so important to pay attention to your nutrition and eat and follow these key nutrition tips. Number one, this is what I see all the time with people, is they're not eating enough protein. Just like we talked about last week, getting pre-cooked protein is literally a game changer when it comes to consistency. Protein is the number one thing that you should be focusing on right next to your calories. If you want to see incredible results, focus on your protein and your calories, and then the fats and carbs can kind of fill in those gaps. Now, you need to balance those fats and carbs to avoid the sugar crashes, because when you're eating a lot of carbs, you're going to get some energy and then it's going to crash, because carbs actually break down into sugar. They're glucose. Then, one of the major things is staying hydrated. This is something that is very simple, but it's tremendous help. And so that's why we focus on making sure that we're getting 8 glasses of water every single day. I want you guys to drop in the chat right now. Like, did you notice a difference when you increased your water intake? Maybe you were going to the bathroom a little bit more, but eventually, at first, your body will adapt. And that's what's really important to this, is we're adapting to this new lifestyle. And so a really great tip here is to just try eating lighter, high protein meals in the morning for better focus and energy. So that is a really great hack immediately, right? You can focus on getting your protein in at the very beginning of the day, and then it's going to provide you with more energy throughout the day. You're not going to carb load at the beginning and you're going to get a spike of energy and then you're going to crash. We want sustained energy throughout the entire day. The next thing is all about sleep. And like we discussed, it is not just about sleep as a whole. It's not about the duration. It's about the quality of sleep. And these are the quick things. I know I've said this before, but I'm going to keep hammering home because they are tried and true and they're science backed. The number one thing that you need to do if you're trying to get quality sleep is to avoid screens 30 to 60 minutes before bed. What this does, when you're getting that blue light, it's like an artificial light into your eyes. And so it messes with your circadian rhythm. And when you're getting artificial light into your eyes, you're not telling your brain, hey, it's time to wind down and go to bed. So when you remove those screens, then you're actually able to start telling your brain, hey, it's time to wind down and it's time to go to bed. Which leads us to the next one, a wind down routine. This I cannot stress enough. Habits and routines are literally everything, and it even is especially important for your sleep. When you can create a routine like stretching, reading, deep breathing, you're going to also trigger that brain to say, hey, it's time to wind down and go to bed. Wind down routines and evening routines are a game changer, but you need to figure out what you enjoy, because with routines, you have to like them or you're not going to stick to them. Now, if you find the routine that you like, find a good book. Do a light stretching routine to make you feel good and ready to just wind down. Don't exert yourself. Just go into things like the child's pose, or even do a little shavasana where you're just laying on your back and just doing some breath work. It really is a game changer and it'll get you prepared to get an incredible night's sleep. So, this is the challenge that I want you guys to try this week. Try getting 30 extra minutes of sleep for the next 3 nights and just see how you feel. Go to bed just a little bit early. A lot of us, we're parents. We can't sleep in the morning, but we can go to bed a little bit earlier. So that's my challenge for you. Go to bed 30 minutes earlier and see how much that changes your sleep and your quality of sleep, while also implementing a lot of these strategies that we just discussed. throughout the day, it's one of those big things where people are like, I find that I have some energy in the morning, but come midday or afternoon, I have to go back for my second, third cup of coffee. And I'm relying on that coffee in order to get through my day so I can get home from work and still have enough energy to take my kids where they need to go and actually show up for them the way they need to they need you to show up, especially as entrepreneurs as well. Like we need to make sure that we're at peak mental condition, and that's what this next thing comes in, and that's movement. And that's what those micro movements are all about. When you're feeling sluggish, move your body. What that is going to do is it's going to force you to breathe a little bit more, and it's going to force you to get up. So many of us, we sit all day long, and I'm guilty of it as well sometimes. I find myself sitting, but what I did was I set a timer for every 2 hours and I get up and I move, whether it's going to do the dishes or vacuuming or whatever I need to do, I get up and move. But the thing that helps my energy levels the most is when I do a quick little 5 minute workout. That's those micro workouts that you have access to inside the app. They're quick, effective workouts that are going to leave you feeling energized. And even if you don't do the entire 10-minute exercise, do half of it. Find that sweet spot where you don't feel tired at the end and you're feeling energized. Because just even 5 to 10 minutes of movement, it boosts your energy level. And just like I was saying, it increases your blood. It increases your blood flow. It delivers those oxygen to your muscles. And the most important thing is it's going to help you improve your focus. So if you're feeling exhausted during the middle of the day, just try to go for a 5 minute walk or a stretch session. Start focusing on circulating that blood flow. When you can circulate that blood flow, you're going to see a tremendous difference. And so that is going to be my challenge for each and every one of you today is next time you find yourself being tired, take 5 minutes and go on a walk and maybe do some like squats while you're doing out there, just like 10 squats, and then move on. Just get the body moving as much as you possibly can. There's a law of thermodynamics. An object in motion stays in motion, and an object in rest stays at rest. And it's the same as your body. When you're constantly moving, you've probably seen this on days where you're really busy. You're constantly moving and you don't feel tired because you're just always doing something. But then when you slow down, that's when you're like, oh, there's that exhaustion that's starting to kick in. So constantly try to get up, set reminders, whatever you need to do in order to get some movement throughout the day. That's what you're going to need to do. But the biggest thing, and I can't stress this enough, everybody knows what it feels like to be like the guy in the picture. Everybody knows what it feels like that you just want to pull your hair out. And stress management and being stressed is the first thing that will just deplete your energy because it's releasing cortisol and your body's like, okay, now I have to regulate this. And so when your body has to regulate the cortisol, it's dropping your energy. Those cellular pathways are putting energy into managing your stress instead of actually giving you energy to do what you need to do. And so that's why the stress management is super important. Stress, negative self-talk, and just like constant overwhelm will literally drain your energy faster than anything. And so these are some really simple mindset shifts that will help you protect your energy. The number one thing is set boundaries. Stop saying yes to everything. As parents, entrepreneurs, and just full-time employees, it's really easy to just take on more because we want to please people. And so set boundaries with yourself that will allow you to manage your stress better. That's really important with kids as well. When you can set those boundaries, they know what to expect. They're not just going to ask over and over and over again. They know, mom or dad, this is their time. We're setting the boundaries. This is my time for me. It's not a selfish time. It's actually a selfless time. When you can set time aside for yourself and get yourself in a good headspace, that is when you can show up and serve your family or show up in your career at the optimal level. Then the next thing is to really focus on gratitude. That is one of the mindset practices that has literally changed my life because what you focus on expands. One of my favorite quotes is if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When you see situations in a negative light, it's really easy to spiral. But if you look at situations as, okay, what is this trying to teach me? Where's my opportunity for growth here? My son has been with me almost full time now, and it's been a huge change for me. We went from part time to less because he moved away, and now I have him full time, and it's been a lot to manage. And I know a lot of you guys can connect with that because you know what it's like to be a full-time parent. And the thing that always helps me out, sometimes I'll get overwhelmed, I'll get stressed, I might snap at him. And then I come back and I'm like, okay, I'm grateful because it shows me that I still have opportunity to grow. I'm grateful that I have him here. So when you can switch that lens in which you look at situations and see where you can grow and embrace gratitude, that's what's really going to help set you up for success. And the really, really big thing that I want to point out is stop beating yourself up for small slip ups. So many people do that. I'm guilty of it as well. We all think we need to be perfect, but it's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. And so when there's a small slip up, just get back on track. You don't stop or you don't not get results from slipping up. You don't get results when you quit. So, my next challenge for you every single day, I want you to do this in the morning, in the night, and then post in the group at the end of the week and tell me how it's changed not only your mindset, but your happiness and your energy levels. Write down 3 things you're grateful for every single morning. And I'm going to challenge you to do it every single night. Whatever it is, find gratitude. Everybody here has something to be grateful for. You have a roof over your head. You have your health. You're able to eat food, drink clean water. There are so many things that we have to be grateful for that not a lot of people in the world get access to. So it's really important to anchor into gratitude because it will literally change your life like it changed mine. I used to be a really angry young man. Life was just happening to me all the time. I was like, why are so many things just happening to me? And then I was able to rewire my neurology. I was able to reset my brain. Instead of focusing on all the things that were going wrong, I was able to anchor into gratitude, and then more things started going right. So that's what's really important. Focus on gratitude, and what you focus on expands. So when you focus on good things, more good things will come. When you focus on bad things are going to come. So as we're moving into this next section, think about that. How will gratitude change your life? How will it impact your life? How will it impact the people around you? Can you teach your kids how to start embracing gratitude? Ask them when they get home from school, what is 3 things that you found that you were excited about today, that you were grateful for? Help set your kids up for success. It's such an important piece of parenthood. The next big things is your environment. This is so important because it helps set yourself up for success. If you can see, everybody has been out in nature and they've just felt at peace. They're out of the chaos, they're out of the madness that life can be sometimes. And so when you can set your environment up to make sure that it's clean, to make sure that it's organized and well put together, there are immense amounts of studies that show when your environment is clean, your mental health is significantly better. And so taking the time to set the space and make sure that your space is clean is really important because your energy or your environment dictates your energy and habits. One really good example, if your kitchen is full of junk food, that's what you're going to reach for. So make sure that your kitchen is full of nutritious food that's already prepped because then it takes away the guesswork. It's like, okay, cool. Instead of going out for fast food, I know I prepped my meals that I'm going to eat that are going to help me feel more energy and keep me on track towards my goal. Now, if your schedule is chaotic, you're going to start to feel drained before the day even starts. And so that's why it's really important when setting yourself up for success to set your intentions and plan the night before for the next day. That is also really big game changer. My wife bought me an incredible book. It's the Panda Planner. Now, in this planner, it has a place for you to come in and say, hey, what am I grateful for? What am I excited about? And then a quick affirmation. Then it sets the priorities for the day. It allows you to write down your tasks and then also goes through your schedule here. And then it's really great because you can look down here, you can look at the day in the review. And it really helps you focus on the progress that you made because so many of us, we go through the day and we sometimes think we didn't accomplish a lot of our goals. But then when we look back and we're like, oh man, I actually did do a lot, it makes you feel so much better. So, a really great tip is just making sure you're setting yourself up for success by planning, but make those small changes like set out workout clothes the night before, prep those healthy snacks in advance. And then the thing that also will be extremely beneficial for you is create a morning routine that energizes you. So many people wake up in the morning and they're reactive. They're just wake up, wake the kids up. They got to get breakfast, get them to school. And it's just this cycle of being like, okay, I'm jumping right into this high stress environment. Take a little bit of time in the morning, go to bed a little bit earlier, like I was saying, and then maybe wake up 15 minutes earlier. There's a great morning routine from a guy named Hal Elrod. He wrote a book called The Miracle Morning. And he actually went through I think it was stage 3 cancer and was able to use the strategies in his miracle morning to help set him up for success. And it's a lot of everything we discuss in one. It's the Savers methodology. So I'm going to save you reading an entire book. There's the Savers, Savers. It's silence, affirmations, visualizations, exercise, reading, and scribing. So mindfulness, training your brain, visualizing where you want to go, getting some movement in the day, doing a quick little reading, and then journaling. When you can combine those things together, you're going to see tremendous amounts of energy because not only are you going to find time to not be reactive, you're going to find time for yourself. Then you're going to set the intentions with affirmations like, this is who I am. I'm retraining my brain. I am working hard so I can become a healthier version. But you have to be careful with affirmations because you can't just say, I'm healthy, when your conscious mind knows you're not healthy. It actually separates it. And we'll talk a little bit about that on Thursday. Or actually, I have a really great mindset coach coming on Wednesday. That's a surprise call that I'm going to be inviting everyone here to that I highly recommend that you jump on because the mindset call with Coach Matt is just next level. And he's going to really break down the difference between the conscious and the subconscious mind and how you can blend the two together in order to actually see results with your health and fitness. And so when you set those standards in the morning, that's really important because then you're being proactive instead of reactive. So let's put all of this together. I want you guys to think about, okay, I just got thrown a lot of information, but what's one small shift that you can make today? How can you implement one thing, one morning routine, going to bed a little bit earlier? What can you do today that's going to set you up for a better tomorrow? The really important thing to remember is you don't need to overhaul your life overnight. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. It's these small intentional changes that compound into the massive results. If you look at building a house, they don't just build a house in one day. They have to build a foundation first. They have to dig down, they have to build a foundation, and then it's brick by brick, step by step. Then all of a sudden, a house is built. And so when you're looking at the entire habits as a whole, focus on consistency. Everyone here, you guys have been doing incredible. I mean, you're all on the leaderboard. And so you guys are all making that consistent effort, and that's where you're going to see true success. Now, energy is going to be something that's going to work its way out. You have to make sure that the nutrition thing, that's number one for a reason. Nutrition is the most important thing that you can do when it comes to energy. When you're eating whole foods, high quality foods that are just single ingredient foods, you're going to see that your body doesn't have to work as hard to break it down, and you're actually going to get more energy. Then just making sure that you're sleeping better, managing your stress, drinking enough water, and moving your body. So I want you guys all to drop in the chat. Actually, I'm going to jump off mute here, and I want you guys all to say one energy boosting habit that you're going to implement starting tomorrow or that you're going to improve. So I really love listening to each one, all of your guys' feedback. I know we've touched on these things a lot, but I hope I put the pieces together a little bit more for you guys. So I'm going to start with Lisa. What is one thing that you really want to focus on improving this week?
So I really need to eat more protein, and especially in the morning. So I'm gonna really try to do eggs and peanut butter and be prepared every morning.
Perfect. Perfect. That's going to be something great. We're going to see what's going to happen with the egg prices here. They're supposed to skyrocket, so I might need to create a training on some high protein meals in the morning, unless you guys have chickens.
Good idea.
Awesome. So thank you for that. That's going to be really exciting. I'm excited to see how that affects your life and how it affects your energy level as well. And it's also going to really benefit you when you're trying to lose weight also. Awesome. Michael, how are you?
Thanks, Nick.
What's the one thing that you really want to focus on improving over this next week?
Um, for me, uh, and I kind of did this morning, and it really made an improvement. Was doing my stretching routine,
Okay.
uh, first thing in the morning instead of like waiting for later in the day to do it. I was kind of doing it at work, on my lunch break and things like that. But I did this morning, and I really felt great, and I feel like that's something I want to kind of focus on doing is first thing, get up, you know,
Yeah.
for the shower and everything, just get stretched. Um,
Yeah.
uh, to Lisa's point, though, I have been kind of watching my breakfast, um, like proteins and things like that, and like I do eat a lot of eggs in the morning, and it makes a huge difference. Yogurt, fruit and yogurt, things like that is awesome. So definitely, you know, watching your breakfast habits is a big thing. But yeah, for me personally, I'm gonna try doing the stretch routine first thing in the morning.
And it's cool when you start to do that in front of your kids, right? Because then the girls will like jump in and be like, "What are you doing, Dad?" I'm like, "Hey, I'm stretching. Want to join?" And they're like, "Sure." It's so funny how they just like replicate what we do, right? Have the girls shown any interest in that stuff?
Yeah, actually, they our oldest girl, she asks us every day, like, "Are you guys gonna do your exercise today? Can I do it with you?" You know, so
Oh, that's awesome.
um, and I think she did some of them with Amy today, but she definitely gets a little distracted halfway through, but at least she's showing interest.
Yep, that's that age. They're like, "Oh, squirrel," and they're gone. So that's awesome. Well, I'm glad that the girls are also showing some interest in that, and it's just really like setting that intention from the top down. We're like leading as examples. So I'm really glad you guys are able to do that. Amy, what is one thing that you are looking on improving? I mean, you're killing it in this challenge. And so I think that like I really want to know what are the biggest things that are contributing to your success, and then share one thing that you want to improve on.
Seeing a difference, like I feel better, even though it's only been a week or so. Like I've noticed some movement on the scale and I feel better, so it makes me more motivated to keep going. And then I wanted to try to go to bed earlier in the night by the time like I get them to bed and get stuff ready for tomorrow and do my work that I need to. And it usually gets fairly late. And so I'd like to try to go to bed earlier every night.
Okay, perfect. That's a great goal. That is a great goal. I love it. And great job.
Thank you.
I just really want to commend you. You've done absolutely incredible, and I'm really excited to see what you're able to accomplish by just sticking with these daily habits.
Thank you. I know last time we did it with you back in the spring, like I'd lost, probably 15 pounds and it made a huge difference. And then life happens and we quit doing it. But
Yeah.
I'm trying to stay more focused this time.
Yeah, and finding this routine that you enjoy, right? And that's the biggest thing is have you been able to find the routine that you're like, "Oh, I look forward to doing this because it does make me feel better and I am starting to see progress." Are you starting to enjoy the process?
Yeah, it's harder. Like on the weekend, of course, it's easier when we're home and I have like go down in the middle of the day and do the exercises versus like tonight after I picked up the girls, I did them together before dinner. But so it kind of varies on each day what the schedule is.
Yeah, maybe I think a great option for you would be to say, hey, when are we going to schedule this into our day? And that's like of scheduling a meeting, right? So it might be a little challenging, but once you start getting into the hang of that, that's what makes it, for me, that's what really helps me. If I'm like, this is the time I'm going to go, and it's like jumping into a meeting. This is my time, and that's what it's going to be. And so that might help you moving on forward for this week.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, great job.
Perfect.
And
Thank you.
Janan, what is one thing that you want to focus on this week to help you kind of with that energy?
Um, I think for me, it's always an endless battle with water, drinking water. You know this. Some days I can be really good, and then other days I just kind of fall off. And then I get really tired, and I'm like, why am I so tired? Um, so I think trying to get better at staying hydrated this week.
Do you have a tangible goal? Like how many ounces would you like to shoot for per day? Because when you're vague with the goals, it's really hard to hit
Yeah.
big, but like more specific is going to be really beneficial.
Yeah, I think usually I can get about 2 refills on my water bottle,
Okay.
and maybe I can shoot for 3.
Perfect. And so how many ounces do you think that is?
I think my water bottle is 32 ounces.
So you're going to shoot for a minimum of 96 ounces of water every day? Because that's
Yeah.
3 of them. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, that's a great goal. Well, everyone, I want to be respectful of your time. I know you guys have families and you got stuff to do. So I am very grateful that you're all here. If you guys have any questions or if you have any topics that you want to be covered more in depth, we're going to really focus on just building this around what you guys want. With the next call, we're really going to be diving deep into overcoming roadblocks and staying consistent because that's where you see real results. As you guys know, this challenge just isn't about fitness. It's about upgrading every area of your life. And this energy is the foundation for success. And I just want to keep giving you guys the tools to just take control of your energy so that you can live your best life. So once again, thank you guys. I'm very grateful that you're all here and I'll see y'all next week. Keep crushing it, guys.
Thanks, Nick.
Thank you.
Thank you.